Watch laser video indeed. Oh fuck, there's a new laser video.
Let's say
Laser update! Alright, let's see it.
in stable, you open the folder, then replace the cursor file.
YouTube changed their UI.
Amazing.
Okay.
Laser things weren't so easy. You'd have to export the skin, import it to stable, or change file extensions to something editable, open the folder, adjust the cursor images, reset it back to an OSK file, and import it to laser.
Wait, sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Let's say
Me and my fucking ADHD brain.
in stable, you open the folder.
Okay,
then
open the
replace
folder.
Cursor file.
Cursor file.
Amazing. In laser things
Incredible.
weren't so easy. You'd have to export the skin,
Uh-huh.
import it to stable, or change file extensions to something editable, open the folder, adjust the cursor images, reset it back to an OSK file, and import it to laser. While skins in laser are
I see.
overall really adaptable, this basic process has been annoying for way too long.
Yeah, that layout thing is... It leaves a lot to be desired still.
Files of your skins. It is really a first step and the bare minimum we can do in this area, because what I would like to see in the skin editor is having all
The volume is low! Collector, you just saved the clip except for the first 43 seconds of watching this.
built in with the ability to drag and drop resources in to replace
That's
them,
how
and
I
not
am.
having to deal with the raw file system with Windows Explorer at all. And that's something which will probably come online later this year. Like, skinning is my next major focus in the game once Song Select version 2 is out and done.
Before we talk about Song Select though, there were a few other skinning changes. Last update added skinnable sounds for the skin element, and now that also works for the legacy version. Rotating stuff in the skin editor used to be pretty unintuitive. Now it works like you expect. And you can change the boldness of text elements. Okay, now on to Song Select 2. Or maybe we should just call it Song Select at this point, because there's no way to access the old one now.
It's kind of like a whirlwind for me, because I've been working through a to-do list that I made myself, which is just what we call like an epic issue, where it's just a combination of all the other issues that people have raised with the feature. There's been a lot of things that are cosmetic or behavioral that like don't really affect the system as a whole, but these very small pieces contribute to people having blockers.
Wait, he has
which
a
means
camera
they can't
right
switch
next to
across
him. What
V2.
camera
And
is
some
that?
people are very loud about that fact.
That's like a
Some of
beefy
these
ass
blockers
cable
were
too.
properly
What?
game breaking, like lag spikes or other performance issues, but most complaints were about tiny things like the back button.
Really?
It
The
didn't
back button?
extend all the way to the bottom left corner, so everyone used to flinging their mouse had to actually aim until this update. Similarly, changing
okay, I
mods
see.
and immediately clicking the bottom right
That
corner
makes sense,
just
yeah.
wasn't possible. You had to wait like a quarter of a second longer, which gets in the way of workflows, you know? The new
Workflows.
Song Select brought back
Yes, the
stable
Osu
feature
gamer,
reversal, and
Osu
players soon
player
figured out
workflow.
It wasn't quite the same. When going up or down, stable would automatically select difficulties within a set, while in laser, the difficulties would only be hovered. So that's been fixed. Stable also had shift plus arrow keys as shortcuts to switch between groups, so laser now does too. And
Oh,
just
wait,
stable,
what?
shortcuts to that's been fixed. Stable also had shift
Stable? You could do that?
plus arrow keys as shortcuts to switch between.
I've been playing this game for over 10 years. You could just do that?
Why are we still here?
This entire time, what I've been doing is, like, if I'm in the middle of a fucking thing, I'll go all the way up like that, and then I'll scroll back down, and then I'll click, like, the other fucking collection. You can just shift an arrow key yourself around? Is it just me? It's kind of useless and stable. What do you mean? Okay, well, it's only useless to people who don't use collections. I use collections so much, dude. I just feel like stable just got a huge fucking update. Revolutionary stable update. Shift arrow key collection switching has been added, but only for me because I didn't know about it before.
In groups, so laser now does too. And just like stable, now select maps only within the open.
Oh wait, you play on an alt. God, this video might be a bit difficult for the editor. All right.
You play on an alt client for Mania, and shift plus arrow keys is used there a lot because they have sorting by lots of things like pattern types. That's cool. Lazer has the tag system. Stable doesn't have the tag system. I want to switch to Lazer, but I have my issues with it.
Open group.
Shazam and mumble the song? Bro, I've tried doing that before. It doesn't work that way.
Not everything is about matching stable though. This leaderboard hover thing has been slightly redesigned, adding accuracy color coordination, as well as PP values in local leaderboards. Plus, you can now click and hold this empty area to show a map's background.
Whoa.
In the process,
okay,
I
that's cool.
removed
I like
blurring the
that.
background at song select.
Right after I say that, I like that. I just imagine some guy just like loading up fucking Osu background of big anime titties, and just like before quickly playing the map, he just like quickly like reveals the
We had so
background
much-
for a bit. It's like, all right, cool, and then he starts playing.
Negative feedback about adding that in the first place. That I was
I don't know
like,
why
well,
I
don't
thought
want
about that,
this
but
in VGS,
I
so we might
I
as
feel
well
like a
just
lot of people are
remove it
going to
and
use
make
that
the
feature
default
for that.
having it non-blurred. And like within minutes of creating that pull request, there were like 4 or 5 downvotes
Remove song to like background blur setting. Wait, why?
on it. The second you add a setting to a game, you cannot ever remove that setting. So I added it back and added support to B2. To my eyes, it's a huge blur and it feels like I need new glasses prescription or something, but it is what it is.
It's
Apart from that, I think there's a couple of
Plus, having less background detail helps increase visibility of the elements that people are trying to see on the screen. And then when they choose to, now they have the choice to
glasses
just
prescription or something, but it is what it is.
to just see the background like this, which is also really cool. I think it's a win-win.
Apart from that, I think there's a couple one group
A lot
line
has
which was
changed.
added that wasn't there before. Grouping by source. I think it's a pretty cool one. This one's also going to get in, which is that when you hide or delete a beat map right now, it like jumps to a random map instead of selecting the next one.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that would be annoying.
Oh, what the hell? Why is it shorten it?
Wait, what? Oh,
Oh.
that. Oh, they took it straight from a
Can
stream.
I have it
Okay.
extended out like this?
With this new option, yeah, you can. And on the
Aw.
topic of leaderboards, you can see contextually relevant leaderboards in both playlists and daily challenge as of today's update. There are so many times I've been playing a map where I realize I want to change the offset, but I accidentally hit quick retry instead of pausing and retrying. Previously, the game would just say my last play was too short, but as of now, it calibrates based on the last valid play. So this quick retry versus pause retry situation won't cause problems anymore.
If there's
Okay.
anything I can talk about in gameplay, it's going to be on the replay stuff. The major underlying issues here was that the actual game's hit windows never matched between stable and laser. You know, this was back in the day where we were like, we're making laser correct. Probably everyone watching this is well aware. We have rolled back a lot of those changes to be like, well, everyone is used to how it works on stable, so let's just leave it that way because it's how it works and it's easier to make everything work together, have the same leaderboards, that kind of stuff. But hit windows were never averted. We never actually got to fixing this one. In Laser, we implemented it in a way that made more sense, and Stable does some weird stuff with like rounding on the edge values.
Aw.
I'm going to pause here to explain just what's going on because it's kind of complicated.
Okay.
Each of these segments is a hit window, and clicking within the
Oh,
hit
shit, you
window
brought the
gives you the
tutorial music
associated
for this.
accuracy. Let's say this hit window is plus or minus 100.2
This is bonus tutorial content.
milliseconds. In Laser, clicking 100.1 milliseconds early would give full accuracy, and clicking 100.3 milliseconds early would not.
Uh-huh.
Stable replays are stored with clicks on whole millisecond values though, so both of
It's
these hits would be
different.
rounded to here. Not ideal. Instead of accounting for fractional millisecond precision, Stable sidestepped this problem by adjusting its hit windows. First, floor the value, then subtract 0.5.
What
This
the
way,
fuck?
every click is always correctly rounded within a hit window.
Ew.
If you ever watched a Stable replay in Laser and noticed it had higher accuracy by the end, this is why. Stable's
Huh.
hit windows are smaller by 0.5 to 1.5 milliseconds.
What the fuck?
Anyway, back to Peppy.
So yeah,
So it's
we
harder to
were
get
kind of
good
holding
act
back on
on
it, but
laser?
Spaceman was just like, we make it match
Even without
stable.
sliders?
We make sure that we have good test coverage of this, and let's just push it forward. And everyone was kind of on board at this point. So replays should be in a pretty good state in terms of playback accuracy. There's one exception to this rule, which is that any replays which were made on laser up until now have the assumptions of the old hit windows, both replays and scores. Most people hit in like a bell curve around the actual hit time, and this only affects the hits which were already on the edge of being 100s. It does mean that replays which were recorded in previous versions of laser will potentially have the same issue in the other direction, because now they're having the stable hit windows applied to them. We've considered what we can do about that, but we're probably just going to live with it at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
This
right.
feature has existed for a while, which makes the editor feel way less crowded, but I never
That
really
was
used
really
it because
interesting.
it was kind of just obnoxious. You go to click polygon or something, then it would expand and scroll somewhere else in the process. As of this change though, it retains your mouse position, making contracted sidebars infinitely more comfortable to use. The editor also always shows key I in the timeline now, even if it's 1 millisecond long. Copying object timestamps in Catch now includes their combo numbers, even though they don't have numbers. Don't think too hard about that. And most importantly, I'd argue, slider shapes don't unexpectedly change anymore. Apparently the coordinates of these anchors were being rounded before, causing inconsistencies between what you see while mapping and what you see after saving and reloading the map. There are a few minor changes left that I don't have much to say about, so I'll just run through them real quick. This notice was added for failed scores. A bug allowing replays to fail early was fixed. Beatmap tags won't automatically resort themselves like this. There's a new button for viewing multiplayer and playlist rooms on the website. Daily Challenge now has this kind of calendar thing on the website too. And you can now block people from their profiles.
The other thing I'll just quickly...
Wait, could you always block people? Was that always a thing? They need to add Subway Surfer gameplay to these videos? No, I think that's a you issue. Blocking is useless in Osu. If you block someone, they can still message you in game. Wait, then what's the point? What?
The mention is that we have been doing the Tachyon releases for the last couple of weeks, and
Tachyon
I'm
mention?
kind of getting in the paces of making that happen more often, and that's been a bit of a learning process. Like, we've had to make some changes to the way the changelog generation works and my general workflow around doing releases. The eventual goal is to have Tachyon releases be something which I can push out at a whim's notice. Even if we decide to do them daily, that should be an easy thing to do, and I think we're almost there. I think we've done probably 4 Tachyon releases since the last main release. The other thing is we actually broke compatibility with the laser stream because there was a database change added, which means that if someone switches to Tachyon and back to laser, it would nuke their songs temporarily, nuke their whole database. That's something we want to avoid in the future, so we put a process in place to make that happen, hopefully.
Sort of related. When
so
was
it's
the
not
new
fixed
garbage
yet.
collector added to Tachyon?
After the last video, probably 3 days, 2 or 3 days.
Okay, I was wondering because as soon as the video came out, I saw people go to Tachyon and be like, wow, it's so much smoother. And I'm like, was it placebo? I don't really know.
It totally was. Yeah, and we had so many people like
Bruh.
opening discussion threads being like, oh, thank you. The frame times feel so good. The latency is so low. It's like, yeah, sorry, but we haven't pushed that out yet.
No!
But we did also see people actually report.
You see, this is why it's difficult to like work with things that deal with latency, because some people are more sensitive to it and know what to look for, and other people overgeneralize it and just don't know where to look to really know if there was a change in latency or not. So when a large group of people are like,
Whoa! Thank you for fixing it!
and it's like, no, nothing changed, then it... I mean, in the past, like, Peppy released like a latency benchmark where it didn't really do latency, but it was to prove a point. It's still in laser. It's to prove a point that people can't tell the difference between like frame times for capping the frame rate. Turns out, if you train yourself, you can. Top players have been able to eventually like tell the difference. But to the general person who has never trained themselves to tell the difference, they won't be able to tell because they don't know what to look for. Anyways.
Improvements after we pushed out the GC changes, the garbage collection changes. So yeah, all is good there, except that just yesterday someone raised that there could be a memory leak. and we aren't yet sure if it's a problem with the garbage collector or a change since the last laser release. So that's something I need to look into today, and hopefully that doesn't hold up the next release.
They don't know if it's fixed or not. Okay, that's actually a memory like good, especially since they don't know if it's been fixed or not yet, and it's for Tachyon. Oh, he said something. Wait, should I do the Australian accent? Thanks to many of you for resounding feedback and opinions on hit windows. This video only touched the surface of the amount of consideration that went into this change. And as you might imagine, we are never thrilled to have kill things that we have made better in lazer. We're reading it all and discussing internally. So stay safe and stay loud. Happy face. New lazer update. Big W. I'm waiting for the latency fix.